Hey, this is Kent with Jones and Associates in Cleveland, Tennessee. We're located on OCOEE Street, right across the street from the courthouse. This is part 3 of our series on what to tell your lawyer when you were getting divorced. We've touched on the initial stages and issues with children. And in our experience, the next thing that comes up, maybe 60 to 70% of the time, that may be high. I don't know, it just depends, but there are issues involving property. The first thing is you probably have a home. Who's going to keep the home? And how will that be dealt with? If there's equity in the home, does one of the spouses get, a portion of that equity? Automobiles can become important. It's nice and simple when one of the spouses has one type of automobile and the other has another, and they just take their own automobiles. But there are a lot of cases when there are 4 or 5 automobiles involved in a divorce, and there has to be a thought as to how those automobiles are going to be divided up. Savings and checking accounts. A lot of people these days have separate savings and checking accounts. That makes it a little bit easier, provided that there is no marital assets in those accounts, and then you can just split them up evenly. In a lot of cases, there are joint accounts, and a decision has to be made as to who is going to keep the account, who's going to get another account, how much of the money that's in the account is going to go to each spouse. Personal property. You wouldn't think this would be an issue, but often it is a very big issue. What do I get to keep that I think is mine? Well, you'll have cases with people, let's say a couple's been married for 20 years and some heirlooms have been passed down and they've been in the house for that long. But they were either the husbands or the wives from their grandparents or so on. Who gets to keep them? Obviously there's a lot of bias as to where they came from, but at the same time, if both parties have used them for that long of a period of time, that can become an issue. Retirement accounts. Usually for people that work for companies, you're going to have a 401k plan or a pension plan or a retirement account, and the common but mistaken thought is that, that's all yours and you get to keep it all. Well, maybe and maybe not. In Tennessee, it's an equitable division state, which means that marital property is equitably divided. So the consideration has to be made as to whether or not first the retirement account is indeed the account of one of the parties. And you can get into deeper issues if one of the parties has assisted in the other party being able to accumulate money in that retirement account. And an issue of commingling can come up, and then at that time, what once was considered separate property can be considered marital property and then equitably divided. Businesses, for people that have a business, If you jointly shared the business, are you going to continue in that fashion? A lot of people do, believe it or not. Or are you going to split it up? Are you going to sell off a portion of the business to another spouse? Those issues can get deep and convoluted. And then finally, there is the issue of hidden assets. Well, hidden assets are something that someone probably has, taken and stored away, and they really don't want anyone to know about it. But if you're meeting with your attorney, that issue is probably going to come up. So you need to be honest with your attorney as to where you have other assets and how much they are, in case that becomes an issue. That's the end of part 3. We'll move on next, and again, I hope everybody's having a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye.